Hello and welcome back to Off Track Podcast with me, Dave Neal. My guest this week is a former World Superbike race winner, MotoGP rider, and most recently plying his trade in the USA riding baggers. Before we get into it, I have to say a massive thank you to Chris Booth of Ducati Manchester Group for making the introduction and helping us arrange the chat. It's hugely appreciated. Make sure, if you enjoy what we do, that you like and subscribe. Every subscription takes us ever closer to that magical 10,000 mark and really does help get word out there that the show's growing and introduces it to more people as well, which means we can bring you more great guests like this one. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, it's the superb RUBÉN XAUS. Enjoy. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to Off Track, Mr. RUBÉN XAUS. RUBÉN, welcome to Off Track, mate. So good to see you. How are you?
I'm okay. Yeah, it took us a long time to just set up things. Okay,
The things that
we are with all old school. Huh?
The things that people don't see.
we need to let them know. Okay, otherwise,
we're transparent, if nothing else, aren't we? That's the good thing. We can let them go. It's great to see you. How's life for RUBÉN XAUS these days? What have you been up to?
Yeah, my life has been always good. I mean, I can't complain myself. Since I was born, my life got up and downs, but always with incredible results. Because I enjoyed every single second of my life, since child, teenage, and then my career, then family, and then other situations, and then downs again and ups again, and and all the things.
It's great that life is good for you. I spoke to Neil Hodgson last week, and he was saying the same thing, that he feels very blessed about his life. He feels great in the position that he's in, and it is great to hear that you feel the same as well. Because for some riders, it makes it a little bit difficult when you stop riding, doesn't it? That they tend to struggle to be at one with themselves.
Well, I mean, for me, you always need to take things as a stage of your life. I mean, nothing stays forever and nothing lives forever. You shape your beauty, your encouragement, your energy, your whatever, and if you don't see yourself and learn to treat yourself and understand how you are, you cannot teach yourself how to proceed on those things, and moments. But my career, I knew since I started racing motorbikes that my career was going to be one. I mean, longer or shorter, but one. And after that, my life would continue. And what is clear, and I've got very clear always, is that my life is longer than my career. So I will be much more time out of my career of motorcycle racer than in motorcycle racer. And I knew that since before I started my career. So that's why I don't stop and hang off my helmet and cry it into a press release. I mean, it's open to anyone, but for me, it's just part of my life.
With having that outlook, I think that's absolutely fascinating, because during a motorcycle racer's career, it's always the next race, the next race, the next session, the next win, the next championship. Everything is boom, boom, boom. And when racers stop racing, they struggle to find that whatever made them happy and whatever they were striving for in life. So to talk to you as I did with Neil Hodgson, I find that absolutely fascinating. When you were in the midst of your career, did you enjoy the time as much as you could? Did you to be present in the moment?
Well, my career was very different than nobody else, I think. And whoever suffers those things after retirement is because they didn't think that was going to be an option of ending the career. I mean, I'm sorry, respecting my colleagues and friends, but you need to know when it's going to end, and you need to be ready for that. It's like when you have a relationship with a wife or woman, and that can stay forever or can end up. You need to be ready for that situation. I mean, we are humans, and humans go through many situations, and if you don't go ahead and step up on those situations, that you're learning nothing on this life. I mean, and that's what I've just learned. I've got really good opportunities. I started racing in super sport with Rumi Honda. I lived in Italy. I've learned a lot with Italians, and I moved to Andorra on 1999 when I was succeeding on the Supersport racing with against Jamie Whittam. In Supersport with the Yamaha, ending in the podium several races, Ian McPherson, and all the big boys, because I was really young. I was maybe 19 or something. They were like 28s, 30s, 32s. So their experience was really huge. So I was a teenage, and I was making many mistakes just to try to be in front of them. And that was my starting career. But I moved to Andorra. I was the first rider to move to Andorra, one of the first ones. And then I just, meanwhile, I just hook up many of the other racers to come up here. And that's why I say my career was very different than anyone else. I was coming from Supersport Superbike uh, towards MotoGP, when this is a normal career, because normally in Spain all the Latins stars 1 to 5 to 50 MotoGP or Moto3 Moto2 MotoGP. It was very rare coming from superbikes for a Latin person. Maybe a UK person, an American person is different, but a Latin person very very unusual. And well, there I just been racing with Neil and myself. He beat me in superbikes. I think I've got so many problems to adapt myself in the 999 and the first four races, and I create so many mistakes. And because I was leading the team in 202, and suddenly at the last minute I just rejoined the team, but late on February. So I think I missed some timing or track time with that situation. And when I've learned that, it was too late. Um, Even winning 7 races in a row and things like that. But after we moved to MotoGP together with Neil, and I think I adapt myself a bit better than Neil, because the team was really struggling on economic financial situation. The material, the team, or I mean the motorbikes weren't at the level that they should be. The bike were just falling apart, honestly talking, because it was the second year for Ducati on MotoGP, so all the parts were quite new with no experience, and everything was just kind of a difficult situation, because I think the championship, I don't know if it was obligating or just pushing to set up 4 bikes on the grid. But I think Ducati was not ready for that too at that time, I think was everything a bit too forced. But well, we just started racing there. I adapt myself a bit better than Neil, and then I ended scoring a podium in Qatar, nearly winning the race in Mugello, ending 7 or 10 races in front, top 5, top 8. So problem is that timing was no social media, no socials, so nobody could see those things. But I think incredible season, scoring top 10, rookie of the year. I mean, many good things in front of many of the top factory racers, Suzuki guys, Yamaha guys, Kawasaki guys, even Ducati guys in front of them. So, but because political situations ended up into Yamaha Tech 3 the year after, uh, in a very bad contract situation, and since day one, it was a nightmare for me. Very nightmare. It was a nightmare.
In what way?
It was a nightmare, because I wasn't supposed to go there. I've got two.
Oh,
I've got 2 years contract with Antien, but because financial situations was not respected the contract, and then I could live anywhere. I wanted to stay there, but I need to pay I need to pay my light, my expenses, my situations, and I couldn't afford 1 second year like that, because I invest a lot on going MotoGP, because in Superbikes with my sponsor and things and my bonus, we were making a lot of money. Jumping in MotoGP, you decrease maybe the base salary on exchanges to do all things, and when nothing comes perfect, then sign again another year. It's difficult. So I move up to Tech 3, but supposed to have one material, and then at the end it wasn't the material I needed to receive. Not as today, because today all the bikes are equal, but that timing tires weren't equal as the factory ones, bikes too, and then it was so difficult to just adapt myself and adapt to the situation or pressure that I've got since we start the season with a lot of contract pressures, and nothing. I ended my career of MotoGP there for that situation. So October I've got nothing, nothing. I wanted to just find out the situation in Superbike somewhere, and nothing. So okay, it was like a stock market. That time my value was really low, and I need to raise up. And in 1 month I went to EICMA. I met up Marco Borciani, and Marco Borciani and I, we spoke and say, look, I need to go back to Superbikes. The bike I know is the Ducati 999. We can get the old ones from the factory team.
Yes.
And then he bought the tracks. I bought the bikes. I put my name there. We were looking for sponsors, and then we did a joint venture. And then I started racing 206 with my own team, as to relaunch myself, as a promoter, boss of a team, and racer. Unfortunately, the last day of the year of that 205, because it was a very bad year, I broke my calf and my shin, and so I started Qatar with crutches, 1 month and 20 days to recover with the stitches and everything. And I remember since as yesterday, my second or third day of the year, with crutches on the bed, paying a big check to Ducati to buy the bikes.
While you're on crutches, not knowing what your condition's going to be.
That was a big bet, but I think that changed also my life, a lot.
How much did that change your outlook? That's a big gamble.
Well, the good thing in life is that when you receive something, it's better to receive it strongly and in one shot. Okay, because when you receive things slowly, you many times you don't feel them. Okay, it's like the poison, slow poison, you don't feel it. I mean, it's better to get a hammer on your head, as it happened to me 2 days ago when I just tried to break a wall that was here, and I hit the hammer with a big stick, and the stick, it came back to me and hit me in the head. So now I'm ready to fight to anyone with a big baseball stick, because I know what the pain is.
We know Ruben knows what the pain is.
So at the end is this. I realized I've learned a lot. I started Qatar 10 and 11 positions with the crutches, and then we ended the year doing good results, increasing the sponsors. Everyone that trusted me was very happy, so we increased the sponsors. That was Pata and Sterigada. Okay,
Yes.
all sponsors that today they became a big sponsors in MotoGP and Superbikes, thanks to us, thanks to myself that time.
Were you the first team that Sterogada came in with them, Pata?
I mean, Superbikes in a big situation, yes.
On a big level, yeah.
Yeah, on a big level.
As title sponsor,
They started very small, and then became bigger and bigger and bigger. And that's why my relationship with them today is very good. As I close main sponsor for Patago 11 Team Superbikes with Ione, So
Absolutely.
I closed that deal last winter. So that give more warranties to the team. That I found that in 206 is the same team, the Go 11 team, and still today running an incredible level. So nothing. We ended 206, then we got better bikes 207. I won in Valencia. Then we ended the year very good. Then we got the 1098 new bikes for everybody. So that was a good chance. And Superbikes placed Max Biaggi into our team. Borciani left the situation because the speed level was increasing too much, and for him was too much. So he became team manager, and they bring on board Biaggi. That was incredible motivation for me, because having Max Biaggi in front or next door, that was meaning that we were going good in a good level, and that we develop incredible business. So Stergata came up big, Pata came up big. We've been in Australia for the private test, first, second, all the winter test, Qatar, and well, suddenly there we've got some issues politically with power, RPMs, things like that, in Ducati, and then we started to suffer. But because we were really big challenge of becoming first, seconds in the World Championship, quite easy, I think. And I wasn't happy because I suffered a lot coming back to Superbikes, investing myself on my own team, to suffer a situation as a good client on not being able to fight with the factory as the same level as today is happening in Ducati, But that time, still, the difference between factory and private teams was huge, and we suffered that. Anyway, I'm very happy that those things turn in a good way, and today all the bikes are equal, and anyone can win a championship. When before,
no question,
was difficult. But I mean, I complain today, 10 years after. Okay, I'm not a person that the day after I just go there pointing you with the finger. I accepted my situation, my challenge, and that's why 208. When I just did good results and with less empowered as everyone else, won in Misano in front of the factory, the big boys, and I wanted more, from the factory, but the resources to sign up again 209 with the factory team was not enough. I was able to bring more money on myself and team because I was fighting to get sponsors, and I've learned. And because I've learned, I was one of the top 5 or top 3 guys paid off on that season with the private team, my own team, and I was very happy with that. And then that's why it was a no to Ducati to jump again on board on a factory team, even if I wanted, because I think I was ready to win a title or fight for a title with experience I passed through on the years previous. But I need to move forward to the other options, and then that's why I just sign up with BMW.
That was an the early iteration of the BMW, wasn't it? It wasn't quite the machine it is today, but it kept you on the grid. That was the great thing. It kept RUBÉN XAUS out there in front of everybody's eyes where you needed to be.
Problem is my team couldn't run anymore because with Biaggi on board, the team spent so much money, and they finished the money on their side. So I wasn't able to just keep going myself with the team. It was good as a joint venture because I was managing on my good deals to just manage good things. So it was time to go to factory Ducati, losing so many sponsors that I just built up and I don't want to lose, or just move to BMW, hoping that we could do incredible job, and keeping also my sponsors alive and sharing that with my partner Gianni Ramello, the owner of the team Go 11, and keep everything alive. And I think that was a good choice on terms of business. Sportly talking, BMW was difficult. Clearly, we all thought that was going to be easy. But remember that till today, Yamaha, Honda did not change their mentality to welcome more Europeans on board, to just change their mentality and just try to hook up and raise at the level of Ducati, and they're doing it today. And at that time, BMW also suffered this, a lot of German thinking, a lot of coming from Formula One, a lot of experience on cars. So electronic was totally different of what you needed because you lean over and you change direction, and then power delivery is totally different with the ratios of the tire profile. Many things that I can explain to you that are it's not a bad argument to them or not. It's just that we needed more experience and database and things to just become better and better. And at that time, Troy Corser adapted himself a bit better than myself, clearly. I was able to go fast in some points, in some timing. A lot of races after lap 5 to last lap, I was really good, really fast. But first part of the race, I was struggling so much with the grip of the tire.
So that made it very difficult for you then.
And Troy was very good at that,
But he had a little bit more experience than you, didn't he, over that time? He'd been riding for a long time. Your first year was 2001 in Superbike, and he'd already been around 5 or 6 years before that. So the experience is
Yeah, but I don't want to complain because that's like trying to give you an excuse, There's
Oh no, I don't see it as that. It's fact.
I did not adapt myself as Troy, and that's what happened, Niels, with me in MotoGP. I mean, I adapt myself much better than Neil, and I did incredible results, and he didn't. And on that situation, Troy Corser did much better than me, and I didn't. But this happens a lot on racing at the top level because racers, we are all good from the first one to the last one. With the standard bike on the racetrack, you put the 50 best riders in the world, and maybe all the 50 riders in the same bike, standard bike, maybe they're riding in within 1 second. So that's why the level is that high. But when we develop a bike that is really incredibly high level and is difficult to drive, if you don't feel happy on the bike, you don't go faster, you go slower. And then when you go against the situation, you damage yourself by incidents or suffering mental situation. So that was the point. I did 2 years in BMW. Second year, Tardozzi came in, and Bartolini came in. The big boys were in BMW that time. And
Indeed.
after 1 year, they all left because it was impossible. It was difficult because if you are closed mentally, it's difficult to open the mind in one day. And today, Bartolini is leading Yamaha project in MotoGP. Tardozzi is leading project in Superbikes, and many other. Guidotti is leading Honda or KTM last year. I mean, we've got big boys on that team, but it was too new. I think everything was too new.
And they've taken until 2024 to get the bike somewhere near, and even that had concessions. So it's still not quite where it should be, I don't think.
Well, for me, the bike is exactly equal. I mean, what they've got is they've got a lot of information because the good things, thanks God that the tires didn't develop that much. That's why I think the BMW, by just doing races and races and races and now having an incredible rider, one of the best talented riders worldwide, did that step up. Otherwise, the bike was suffering all day long. But anyway, I'm happy for them. Happy they won the title, and doesn't matter how you won it. You won.
Oh no, you still got to win the races. You still got to put the points there, and you've got the best superbike rider in the world today in the saddle, and it's a perfect storm, isn't it?
Yeah, but he's not happy right now. No,
no, not particularly. I think he's in for a long season, don't you?
Well, let's see. We hope that's gonna come back situation.
Oh, me too. We need Toprak up there. We need Nico Bulliger up there. We need Jonathan Ray up there. We need Alvaro up there. We need Mikey up there. We need everybody at the front. It needs to be exciting racing.
Better the Iannone everywhere down there because it's my
and Andrea Iannone, of course.
My situation. So,
but it's great to see him back as well, isn't it? He's had 4 years out. For the reasons that are in the press. It's great to see him back in the saddle. He hasn't lost any of his speed.
No. Talent is there. I mean, it's what I say always. When you are 18, you have the best gas you can have. When you're 30, you have better experience, but not better gas. So he's got the gas that he's got on 18, but he's got much more experience. The only problem is that after 4 years, I think he was training himself at home, trying to set up. But you need to train today. You need to train with the best. You cannot train yourself alone. Before, yes, because nobody was training. But now, if you want to succeed, you need to train with them every day. And the problem is when he was going testing himself, maybe he was doing 80%, and then when he was doing long races, his performance physically was coming down really after the lap 10 or 12. That's why he just won the race in the sprint race in Cremona, I think, and because physically you can afford 10 laps, 12 laps, but he couldn't afford 25 laps because he was out of shape. I mean, 4 years is normal, but I think this year he assumed that situation and he trained hard to understand that he needs to improve those things, and hopefully for us that can become an incredible season, as our goal is as a team with my partner is just to have the best bikes 2 and 226 together with Ducati and start with the same level, because when it's a new bike coming and everybody has the same bike, the first 5 races you go with them.
Yes.
After they develop things, but the first 5 races you go with them. And if you are there today, thanks God, with Gigi, if you do good, well, they support you. So that's our challenge.
And fingers crossed, and we hope for a successful season for the Go 11 Ducati team and for Andrea Iannone. Take me back to 2001 when you made your debut in World Superbike. You'd done the World Supersport, as you said, with James Whittam and Fearless, but now you take that step into World Superbike and become the first Spanish rider ever to win a World Superbike race.
Well, I was doing Supersport because I was quite high, and I've got no space in the Spanish championships, European championships with the 2-stroke bikes because it was too expensive. My dad was a worker, a workshop, and we have got no more money to do things. I started with the Checo 888 European racing, 2 races with a very old bike, 8 years old bike, and I still did the lap record in Albacete, pole position, 4th position in Braga, and then I got the opportunity to jump on board with the RUBÉN team. Okay, that changed my life because I moved to Italy with a house, with a salary, with a car, and with expenses covered. So for me, it was a wow, incredible dream that became true. Then I just moved to Yamaha because I wanted to ride with the Michelin tires because I was suffering a lot. That time the Pirelli weren't as good as Michelin, because it was a Thunderbike Trophy that was a super sport racing inside the MotoGP. And they developed those tires that were working very good for those bikes. So after 2 years, very difficult with the Pirellis and Rumi, I've got the option to jump on board with Wilco Zellenberg in the DC team that was supported by Yamaha Europe, thanks to Jeffrey de Vries, my friend Jeffrey de Vries, that raced together in Supersport, and he really helped me a lot. And also with Lawrence Klein, the manager from Vandermark. At the time, he was a director in Yamaha Europe, and they helped me with 2 bikes or 1 bike and parts, And well, I started, and all the race I finished, I was in the podium of winning it. Unfortunately, I crashed 3 times and I lost the championship because it was my championship. But I wanted it every day. I wanted to win every day. I'm like that. I want to win always. So
that's why you go racing.
So when I was doing great, I asked to renew Yamaha to have the option of superbikes. Otherwise, I wanted to look around because my goal was to jump on superbikes. They couldn't give me that, and Tardozzi came to see me, Davide, and told me, "Look, Ruben, you're gonna suffer 1 year with the Supersport and 748 with Paolo Casoli, and after, if you succeed and you do well, we're going to have some tests in Mugello with the Superbike, and if you do well, we take a look at what to do on the future." And I signed my close eyes. I signed myself. That same year, I was moving to Andorra. And in my life changed because I went to ride for the first time the 748 in Rijeka. And when I jumped on board, I said, "What is this piece of whatever?" Because the bike was slow, no RPMs, no power. I mean, you had to click gears to just make it move. It was really stressful for me because I said, "What move I've done?"
Yeah.
And I met there for the first time Cal Fogarty in Rijeka. He was testing the previous day in the superbikes, and then I tested the day after in the Supersport for a few laps, and nothing. I adapt myself to the bike. We start doing again a precision incredible with the 748 with Paolo Casoli, making first, second every single test, but the bike was falling apart every single day. We've got many problems of safety and issues with engines, so we need to reduce 2,000 RPMs. That for a B bike was drama, and from there the bike was no power at all. So we suffered to be in the top 5 every single round because we could win again first, second this title very easy. So I think myself I gave up 3 or 4 world titles. So easy. I know I'm conscious. Whoever says opposite, is because has no idea about motorbikes. But I gave away a lot of things because I don't know, because bad luck in some points, because the bike was not running correctly that day, because wrong timing, wrong timing. But anyway, I just did that year with the Ducati, winning one race, two podiums, suffering a lot, and then I tested superbikes. I did a incredible good test in Mugello, and they promoted me to the World Superbikes together, Troy Bayliss and Ben Bostrom, creating that dream team that it became. And also there I suffered a lot because I've got so much pressure. First Spanish rider when I was a Spanish, now I'm Andorran. So when I was a Spanish, is I just got so much pressure. I've got big bike, big championships with the big boys, factory teams, factory bikes, everything. And I was suffering. I mean, I need to understand the bike, the power delivery, the consumptions, experiences, the tracks, the two races. I mean, everything was new for me. And with the big boys at home. So I remember again, as yesterday, Tardozzi came to me and he took me he took me two times by my neck in my relation with him. Okay, and he said, "Or you win before the season, or you go home." And then I went summer break. I went fully focused on training, very physical training. And when I came back, really determined, we went to Ocean's 11, new track for everybody. I did second race one, and I won the race two by 10 seconds lead in front of everybody. And that was my explosion. After that, I did podium, winning in Misano and Imola, I think, or I don't know where. Assen, Imola. So 6 podiums and 3 wins in a row, and that renewed me. And then my career already was top rider.
To be thrust into that kind of environment and that arena with Ben Bostrom, with Troy Bayliss. What support was there for you? Because you were still a young rider at the time, and you get thrown into this amazing arena, and you go like, "Okay, you've arrived. Now it's your turn," and you suddenly go, "Wow."
No, I mean, I was too young. I mean, I was 21 years old. I mean,
Yeah.
21, 22. I mean, today, not many riders get into superbikes or MotoGP. Well, MotoGP, yes, now, but superbikes, not many riders get up there at 22, 21 years old, with a factory team. But nothing. I knew also my situation. I was directly second rider, okay? And I was doing my job, and I was supporting Troy, okay? I mean,
Yes.
and happy to, okay? Because I knew my role. And I just got it. And I think I was very respectful against my teammate, and I helped him every time he needed, and without any kind of question, and nothing. I think also that gave me a good relationship with Ducati, and that feedback, or relationship that bring us a long-term situation. And after that, as I said, 2002 we got many problems with clutches, and we suffer a lot with the bikes in the clutch, and I needed just to adapt myself and fight. I couldn't win any race. I did some podiums, but we suffered a lot with the clutch, And by that time also, Ducati was very focused in a MotoGP project, and I think maybe a little bit everything was a bit difficult, And 2003. Resigned with Ducati, and that situation with Neal. I mean, he adapted himself better and quicker to the 999 as me, and then I just got or lost another opportunity of winning another title. But as I said always, it's very nice to have a title. I miss it, okay, but at the end, all the experiences I've got racing against the big riders, and my winnings and my races and my show, and that's what I just always have with me. A trophy is very nice to have at home, but what is important is what you really enjoyed doing, what you loved, and that's what I'm doing, and enjoy those moments.
Nobody can take those memories away from you, can they? That's the greatest thing. What are your best memories of those early the 2001 to 2003? What are your best memories of being in the World Superbike Championship then?
It's winning my first race, it's because I was the first rider in Spain to do that, and then I started racing the superbikes big in our country, and I became really strong also in Italy as a person. And then also MotoGP, because the responsibility that we use, it was the starting moments of the contractions and blah blah blah, but was very difficult. It was working like cutting the power delivery, so I just kick off all that contractions and everything. So we were running always with 210, 215 horsepower direct to the wheel, and that timing in 204, it was a lot of power. Okay, the bike was turning 19,500 RPMs, so you've got a power delivery 3,000, 4,000 up to 19,000. It was incredible. That emotion. You can make it spin the bike anytime you want it, with any year you want it. It was incredible. That was my best sweeting bike that I got ever. That bike. Even if the bike got problems everywhere, but when the bike was running, it was incredible, and I enjoyed really a lot riding that bike. I really enjoyed a lot riding that bike. I suffered also some tracks, but when the tracks were good and the bike was good, I was really fast. And anyway, that's why it was frustrating not to be able to step up on the factory team, or at least stay in the same team with the needs I needed. But that's life. Life is like this. Nothing comes as you want, and you need to take it as it is, and after that I suffer many more things. Okay, so at the end, 210, I ended with the BMW. I got a chance because I was hurting with the BMW, my my humors. Then I jump into the 10 Kate Honda, bringing some sponsor and covering my expenses. But at the end, they've got some problem with the sponsors at the previous year, and then at the end, my support was going into cover other things. So since day one, I knew that there were not gonna be support for me for that year. So when this happened, already I click off, and I knew that was gonna be my last year.
And you were comfortable with that choice?
You need to accept it. Life is like this. I could stay racing 5 more 6 years, but I think those years were not gonna be the years I wanted on terms of salary and in terms of good bikes. And if I was giving the same effort as previously, with worse material and less income, it's problem because that mixed together is jumping yourself from the edge of a mountain. So I know when there's a limit, and that was the limit. So I stopped 2011. I ended my career. I said, finish. I do other things. I didn't just put off my helmet, blah blah blah. I just said, tomorrow another thing, and then I start doing other things. I start doing things in Andorra. We start working with uh, with the banking system to hook in sport athletes for their better career and incomes, just to be able to, after racing, stay long with their earns, and in terms of taxes and security and safety, because that country is very safe, and a lot of sport outlets here, so everything is really related. And then I was doing all the business. I did a school writing with Freddie Spencer and Bernard Garcia in Italy, in Spain, in France. Then I was doing a TV commentator. Then I was looking for sponsors to set up in teams. I'm a guy that find myself a good way of living without working too much, and that, that's something difficult.
That's
But
what
you know
we're
why?
all looking
Yeah,
for.
the problem is that I need to do that because I don't know how to work from 8 to 8 and stand in a table, every single day and keep doing the same thing one day after the other one because we've been wild and free, you know,
Sure.
since 15 years old. So today, after 25 years of racing career, I will not gonna be able to do with what my colleagues do. I mean, I'm sorry, I respect them. That many of them they became director of a team, this and that. I did that casually with the manager as a team manager in a Avintia team because I was bringing money there and sponsors there. I get my commission, finish, intermediation, as I can do in Pata, whatever. But my point there is that it happened some issues, and the owner asked me, "You need to manage me the team." I said, "No way, impossible. The team is crap. So that team is the last one in the field. The bikes are not good." Uh, and he pushed. I said, "Okay, I gave the owner three things. One was my salary. Second one, I wanted the keys of the team. That means I do whatever I want. Okay. And third one was good riders and pay debts because everyone was related with was my friend or good relationship since my long career. He accepted, so they want to start just cleaning in the team everything. People, no people, way of thinking, and we work a lot on mental situation
Of
because,
course.
because the same people that worked there before doing last every race is the same people that we score two podiums with Bastianini and one podium and pole position with Zarco and others that we could do more. And now those people that works there, two guys are with Alex Marquez this year, two guys were with Mark Marquez last year, two guys are in a factory KTM, two guys are in a Pramac, two guys are in a Honda. So all my people from that team is set up in incredible team
It's
now.
high level. Yeah, they're high level people.
Making four times the money we're doing there, flying business class and sleeping in good hotels. By the timing they were going economy, they're sleeping in the truck. So
They're going on the jet and turning right.
yeah, and we clean the depth of the team with everybody, Ducati, everybody, and the team was sold to Valentino Rossi. So that was a very nice situation for me as well because being successful on racing, high level doesn't matter. Being the Messi of or Cristiano Ronaldo of the racing motorbikes or Marquez or Valentino Rossi, I was up there, and being able to be up there as well as a team manager and being up there as a entrepreneur, or in life, that's the best of the options,
Does that give you a lot of personal pride as well that you can still bring so much to the sport because you have that great intelligence that some riders have all talent?
I'm not an intelligent person. I'm smart, but not intelligent. I'm not intelligent. I'm smart. I see things. I smell. I've got a nice DNA of making projects, reality. But I'm not intelligent. I know what my capability is, but I tell you, I'm not an intelligent person. I'm a smart person.
There's a difference. There's a difference.
Big difference. Because a smart person can survive with money and without money. The intelligent person may happen that can survive only with everything perfect, on site. And I'm a person that can just develop myself in any of the situations. Doesn't matter how hard or difficult it is.
And some people can't, which is why they cannot continue in racing sometimes. And they don't have that ability to adapt. If you had the chance again to step to MotoGP when you did, knowing what you know now, would you have still taken the Dantin ride?
Yeah, of course, because it was the only option to get in. But of course as well, I was going to play my cards better. Now I know much more. Now with a phone call, I make business. And before I didn't know how to start making business. So it's like that. But it's okay. It's okay. It went like that. It needed to go like that because when you go against destiny, sometimes things go wrong. And I always say the things come where they need to come, you know. And maybe now is my best moment of my life. So because now I understand every single thing that I do, I enjoy every single day. I'm in a serenading moment because I've got two girls. They're 18, 17. One is already in university. She drives her car. They good. They have a good passport for tax reasons. They save. They speak 5 languages. They know what to do. They already have one of my companies. They work for myself. They're ready with 18. They know what is a salary, an obligation, the cost of life, the money, responsibilities, and things. So they are 10 years in advance of me. So it's the best heritage I can give them
Of
because
course.
they're
Your
going to
experience. That's what you give on to your children, isn't it? Your experience and your feelings.
they're going to become much better as me, much better than me. So that's already my best win on life, you know. And still, I'm young. Or I feel young because physically I always train a lot,
Yes.
more than anyone at the timing. So that's why physically I'm okay. I touch the boot, and I still can do things because I've got two girls and not two boys. And then if I got two boys, I was already deep down into the um, madness of the racing motorbikes and trying to hook them as world champions, losing my life, my health, and my everything. So thanks God to having two girls and not two boys, because now I still enjoy the racing motorbikes, coming back to the baggers and things like that. Um, as a young kid, but with experience and knowing what I want every single second, you know.
It's a wonderful position to be in. A wonderful position. Tell me about the baggers. We come on to that now. Before we go on to our questions, I'm keeping an eye on the time as well. But tell me about the baggers experience, because we see Kyle Wyman and we see the guys doing the king of the baggers.
Okay, people don't understand sometimes, but at the end is what I said. I just I went to Knockhill with Chris from the Ducati Manchester. They always invite me to do events and things. I tested some of those Panigales that run themselves now because they're full of electronics. You feel nothing and you go full gas and the bike turns grip. It's incredible. And I was going quite fast at Knockhill. Never seen Knockhill and things. And there was like a rumor that coming back to BSB racing superbikes, I don't know, well, whatever. And I said, no way, because I'm not gonna steal any young rider chance because a big name is coming back and cover that situation. Okay, but it wake me up of hungry of riding again. You know something? I said, what can I ride that is different and is not in a situation that I already been on it? Okay, and I saw that bagger issue growing in America. And I said, I want to go there and see what's coming. And I just called Ben Bostrom that he raced with failing parts, uh, really amateur situation. And then, but I'm not amateur. If I go for one thing, I go directly strong. So I went to see a private test of the Harley Davidson in Road America thing. I went to see the warehouse of Baden Hines. I went to see Saddlemen. I went to see everybody. I spent maybe 3,000 kilometers in 3 or 4 days, just going everywhere myself, touching everything. And I understood with the mentality of the Americans that there, for me, was not being available and flexibility of bring my sponsors, partners, my parts, my stickers on the fairings that I've done when I was doing my superbike team, Stelgada or BMW or other situations, you know?
Yes.
And then I said, this way, Ruben, stop it, because the only thing you can do is get a salary that only going up and down with Andorra and blah, blah, it will not cover expenses. So my numbers are not acceptable. If not, I'm not American. So I just make an agreement with Felling. We spoke and we make an agreement of a joint venture. And then I've got my own sponsors. I went to see every one of them because you and I, we know that today the aftermarket racing is suffering a lot. for parts. And I smelled that situation of going to my partners from all my career and hook them to develop parts for the custom sector and allow them to get into that sector smoothly. Because if they want to just get into the sector direct, the door is closed.
No.
Because you know the market, how it works, and it's all political situations.
Indeed.
So I convinced many of those partners, they jump on board with me, and we developed in 6 months incredible bike that works incredible. It's clear that we're not going to spend and cannot spend the 40 engines that Harley Davidson factory spend. I think I heard the budget from Harley factory is 10 million bucks. We spent last year 200. So at the end we knew, or I know what is my war, battle,
Yes.
And it's not the battle of the king of baggers against the factory teams. It's just develop parts from Europe, go there. I develop a lot the BRL, and my agreement with BRL is if I was winning the championship, I get the license for Europe. And then we've done that, and I created that championship in Europe, and then it's kind of a startup,
Yes.
It's in a startup that what I do is I just go to the biggest national championships in Europe, IDM, Spanish Superbikes, Italian Superbikes, Alpe Adria, East Europe. I buy the spot of the grid. I buy a piece of the grid. And then what I do is I sell that inscription fees, sponsors, catering, food truck, parts, blah, blah, blah. And then I get my coverage on YouTube's stream. And then we just promote that situation. 3 years contract with FIM, try to enjoy, try to bring more brands on board, and then try to make real that situation. And if that goes good, then as always is a business. You raise it up, and after ask somebody to run it, and just give me some peanuts,
Take it for the peanuts. Will we ever see a race at British Superbikes?
Well, I wanted to talk to Stuart. I even messaged him and called him, but I never got back replied. So I don't know. I mean, I'm open to do whatever. I mean, my goal is just to do something in Europe, and very welcome to do the year after Navarra with them inside the World Superbike, the British Superbikes. But I mean, more than welcome. Yeah, I think that category, if we just place it up inside the MotoGP, or it's difficult because then you have no flexibility to do your own business, because the space is so expensive. Everything's so expensive. The coverage TV is so expensive. Everything's so expensive. So, and there's no more space. So they settled you on the other side of the paddock, not more interesting. So where I'm going now, our category is the most interesting.
Sure. And that's what you want. That's what you need. You need to get the interest and the passion for the people.
That's an attraction. The new things are attraction. And that's what I'm doing. So I think it's suiting very good on that situation today. Maybe stepping up to be able to land in the World Superbikes. That's maybe the goal. But I mean, not in a rush, honestly talking.
No, you got to walk before you can run. It would be great to see the baggers at Brands Hatch or somewhere like that.
Of course. I mean, the bikes are getting better and better and better. We're testing 4th April in Castelloli. Park Motor is a track that now it's managed by Heinz Kinnegartner and Jordi Arilla. And they've really been kind to me, helping me to be able to ride there with the baggers. And we are doing like Race Zero, 4th April, that we invite for free. Anyone that ride a bagger from Europe and wants to join us, is welcome for free. Honestly,
wow.
Okay. So we hope to be at least 7 or 8 or 10 bikes. If there are more than happy. But for me, those 7, 8 bikes enough to manage the situation and be able to exchange things, exchange track time, and spend time with the new customer partners, riders, to develop this together as a family, because that's a startup,
That's how it all works, isn't it? You've all got to work for each other these days. It has to be beneficial to everybody. And I wish you all the very best with that, Ruben. That sounds a fascinating project. And maybe one day we will see them as a one-off round at BSB, maybe.
When you are the first one on betting and just investing, and not always is easy, okay?
No.
Not always easy, but I'm very welcome to welcome people to help me and just to follow it after me. And because the ideas sometimes you create them, and then after somebody else come with more energy and more clear things to run it at another level, you know. Because when you have a seat, sometimes you are too focused on starting, and then you get tired and you get burned and you suffer things of the investments and blah blah blah. So I'm on that process, and then I think whoever will come on board when that's already good is more than welcome, because I don't want nothing for me forever, you know.
No.
Because at the end things go up and down, and you know, you buy things, you sell things, you change situations every single day.
It's there for anybody to see. If the opportunity comes up, there it is. Take it to the next level. Ruben, I'm just keeping an eye on the time. We're just going to go through these the Patreon questions that we have for you. I don't tend to check the questions, so these are going to come at you, and your answers are what they are. First of all, Mick Strickland, he says, congratulations on a fantastic career. I have some amazing memories watching you battle with Colin and Troy and our very own Neil Hodgson, along with many other legends. And also good luck bringing the baggers across to Europe. He said, there's a long list of amazingly talented riders at world level, like you, from Catalonia and across Spain in general. What do you think we need to do in Britain to try and capture our racing talent early and nurture these young riders? Because you have a completely different system to us. Like you said before about production racing.
Very, very easy. Very easy. At the end, when you have a good weather and you have racetracks and you have a culture and you live, eat, drink, smell, and suffer that sport every day in TV, socially, and blah, 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 then you grow up yourself without even pushing, because your timing is just altogether the other one. In Britain, is forced because the weather is not perfect, you know. The trick that not many tracks, one track from one side to the other one is a lot of long journeys and traffic, blah blah blah. And then at that situation it's difficult because it's not the best sport in Britain, you know, the motorbikes. So when you need to move stones every single day from the road, it's difficult. You give up so many times, okay? Because in Spain you may have problems and competition. That's good, because if you are good in front of those talents when you are 13, 14, 15, if you are good after that, means that you're gonna get up there, because there's so much competition. But problem in England, maybe it's because there is not enough, or there aren't enough tools to just make that teenage situation, that when one guy succeeds in England and come back to Spain to ride, he got kicked off by the last one, you know, and because the level here is so high.
We've
So
seen it so many times.
so the only way to do is just the English person move to Spain for living and follow that dream.
I agree
But
completely. It's a difficult situation.
That has a consequences, you know,
It
because
has this consequence.
no, if it goes good, it's incredible. If it goes bad, it can end badly.
True. That is true. Mick, thank you, Ruben. Simon Breeze, which race series did you enjoy the most and why?
No, Superbike I enjoyed a lot because that was my starting situation, but I enjoyed that year with the Ducati Desmosedici MotoGP. As I told you, no control traction and 19,000 RPMs, power delivery every single second, you know? Every single second. Always when you ride motorbikes, you complain. No power here, no power there, no power in the bottom, no power in the top. Always you complain. But with that Desmosedici, we've got power everywhere. Every single second. We've got other problems, failures, tire grip, and other issues, okay? But the power was always there. Always.
I think it was, if I remember right, I think Alvaro Bautista, when he stepped onto the factory Ducati World Superbike at Portimao, He went out and did his first laps. He came back in and said he wasn't running right.
Yeah, because
but it was on full power. One thing that Simon does ask, and this is an interesting question, the podium incident at Donington Park.
Well,
would you change your reaction to that if the opportunity came again?
No, because I was right. I mean, at the end, I was third position. It was a red flag. And then I was coming back to the pit garage with the race finished. And then suddenly a guy in front of me crashed because of slicks. And then on the uphill, it was raining incredibly. And then I ran off the track. And then I touched the grass and just crashed. Then I just forgot about the bike because I was in the podium and I ran again the podium because you've got 10 minutes to arrive before. Okay, so at the end I did nothing wrong. I ended my race up to the red flag.
Of course.
When I just crashed after that red flag is because the conditions weren't good with the slick tires, but we were not racing anymore. And then I was in the podium. You put me up on the podium. You've got Parc Fermé, 5 minutes to on Parc Fermé. Then you call me for the podium, 5 more minutes. And when I was up in the podium, you kick me off.
It's a ridiculous situation.
That's the point. That's why I got pissed. If I get into Parc Fermé, tell me, Ruben, where's the bike? You cannot get it here. This, done. Then it's done. You don't even accept me to get into the Parc Fermé. But you allow me to go into Parc Fermé. You just call me for the podium. You announced me in the podium and I was on the podium. And then suddenly you kick me off the podium and you bring Mr. Biaggi. That was my teammate, and we already got problems with him because he was racing better material than I, and we already went through another situation. And that was an exaggerating point because all these situations. But I was not happy because you should tell me before to get into Parc Fermé. That wasn't my mistake.
Direct you into the garage wherever. Don't go that far down pit lane. And then you understand the situation. But to go through all the process.
The point. When you have all the process and then you see Biaggi up there, then it get you mad because it's a what? And Biaggi, you know?
Anybody but him.
But that time we've got a difficult situation and relationship. Now we have incredible relationship with Max. We became really good friends after that year. He respects me a lot because I raced really at the incredible level, chasing him into his limits.
Yes.
So yeah, it was good.
Excellent. Simon, thank you. And we've got a couple more. Mick Pringle, how does racing baggers differ from the other classes that you've been so successful in? And how excited are you to bring the class to Europe? And we covered a little bit of that before.
Baggers are different. You know, bike is very heavy, and it's not a matter of how fit you are. It's an understanding what the weight's going to do. You know, it's clear that, as I said, I cannot compare our bike towards the factory bikes up there in America, but their budgets are huge up. Private team, their settlement team budget is $1.5 million. I'm not going to even spend a quarter of that.
No.
I stay home making money. So, but my challenge is doing all the things. So I just set up the bike correctly, make it work, and my bike is working incredibly on setup and way of riding it. I just step up on creating a super bike from the bagger, which we did. Except that the power delivery is not as the big boys because we don't want to break engines and keep changing engines every day. We cannot afford. Okay, that's big money. I don't want to spend money on that. The issue is that my bike is working good, and what you understand is the weight transfers and the weight reactions. That's what you need. Once you settle this, is incredible grip because the bike is so heavy, and the effect of reaction is very similar to the MotoGP bikes today with those spoilers that create downforce.
Yes.
That bike has automatic downforce because it's so heavy.
Gravity.
Once you put it on the line, the grip is incredible.
Wow.
Incredible. And the torque is incredible too, because he has, I don't know, a lot of torque, you know.
It's been good. It's been fascinating to watch. And just even listening to you speak about it and the excitement that you have is really cool.
No, but the good thing of my bike is I developed the slipper clutch, dry slipper clutch by STM. that doesn't exist in the Harley's world, make the bike thinner, so perfect on just getting in the bikes on the corners. We developed the blipping system, up and down by RRC Italians, up and down. You can click the gear without using the clutch anymore. The thumb brake with the JJ Juan from Brembo, ride-by-wire from Domino, linked to the AM dashboard, the telemetry. I mean, we develop swing arms, we develop everything. So it's very, very interesting, you know.
Very, very interesting. Very in depth too. Perfect. Thank you, Mick. Chris Turner, who was your best teammate?
Well, my best teammate, I can tell, was Troy Bayliss, because I couldn't read him many times. I mean, he was driving every single lap different. I mean, you cannot even study him. When you were behind him, to just study him and pass him, so many times he was so unpredictable, because he was riding, getting the first sector, lap one, incredible first corner, but then he missed corner 3, 4, and then he recovers, and then he started to do the corner 5, 6, incredible again, and 7, 8, really bad. But his average was enough to do incredible lap time. And mindset is always to do the correct lines to get the best average situation on lapping, you know? And his one was not. His one was going fast anywhere, any moment, any time. So it was so unpredictable to be able to study him and pass him. And so many times was so difficult to race against him.
That's fascinating. I never really thought of that. Which race do you play back in your head and wish you had ridden differently?
Laguna Seca was lefty tracks a lot, but Laguna Seca for me was incredible when I've learned it. It was my best win ever by 25 seconds leading, so an incredible race. The feeling was so amazing. Misano is another racetrack that I'm really fast and really good. Assen also, Phillip Island, Barcelona, Imola as well.
There's a theme of fast flowing corners there.
Yeah, I've got a few incredible Portimao too. I've got incredible tracks that I'm really fast at. Then I have other tracks that I suffer more.
Which one was your least favorite?
Less favorite? Difficult to say, but Valencia was difficult for me. I think the pressure, home, thing like that, and I won. I won there with all the categories, but it was very difficult. I mean, it wasn't easy. No. I need to work out really a lot to set up things and make it happen. Meanwhile, the other tracks, I just go there. They won already fastest, and when I was fast, they won. Then all the weekend I'm fastest.
Fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. Chris, thank you. The last one's Craig Lowe. Let's have a look. What was the best advice you've ever been given? What was it and who was it from?
Wow, best advice. I think I've got many, but I never listened to them. You know? I was too young, you know.
It's amazing how many times I hear that from a motorcycle race.
I think I was too young many times for my situation, honestly talking.
That makes sense.
So that's why I did not listen too much.
It's only in later life when you look back and you go, that's what he meant.
And now I listen everything, every single thing.
That comes with maturity. The very last question from me is a question I ask to every first-time guest on Off Track. Ruben, what's your best hire car story?
I've got many.
I thought you might.
Yeah, I've got two funny ones, okay? One, it was IDM Superbikes with Alpha Technique, raining, Opel Corsa, Ausfahrt, exit of the motorway, the ones that goes up and that's from the bottom to the top. And I was talking by phone. By the timing, the phones are Ericsson color, that one that opens, you know, very fancy. First time that we got phones. And I was talking by phone, and then I got into the curb, and I didn't even reduce from 5th gear to 3rd gear. And then I got inside, not too fast, maybe 60 per hour, but with no engine braking. You know, and a very light car. So when I just got in and click in, it was raining quite a much. And then I was like talking by the phone in my hand, and I didn't just click back on the gear. So when I got in and started going slowly, and I started losing my rear slowly on the phone. Slowly on the phone, and I'm like shit on the phone. What? Shit. What? Shit. And then I end the asphalt and get into the grass, and there's always a big hole to just get off the water,
For the
for the
drain, yeah.
for a drain. So I just got in that hole, and then just flip two times by talking to the phone. And then it's ended. I grabbing the phone again. Hey, I'm okay. Nothing. I just flipped two times, but I'm okay. Then the police charged me for destroying the grass for the car. And then that's one. And then the second one, very funny, it was Misano 2010 with BMW. I was on the hotel, and I need to go back to the racetrack for the meet and greets. And then it was a very traffic jam, a lot of traffic jam because it's summertime and things. And I'm just behind one person that was pulling out into its garage, but the pedestrian, it was a step is quite high, so the person just click in and not going up again. Then when he clings in, it seems to be, I was first gear, and I'm with the cinquecento first gear, and I'm like doing that chicane, boom boom. But at the same time I'm doing this, the car of that person coming back, and with the edge of my door I just took it, but doing that second movement, it had the edge at 10 per hour. I flipped the Cinquecento and I hit other four cars. So I got a accident against four cars, and the police report with four insurance coverage and things. Very drama, but it's okay. After that, okay. It's not bad. 30 years career, not bad.
Again, maturity comes, and now the rental car goes back in the nice condition. Everything fine. There's your keys. Thank you very much. Ruben, thank you so much for this. I want to say a big thank you to Chris Booth, Ducati Manchester Group as well. He hooked us up together. This has been fantastic. Thank you for your time and for your patience as well.
Thanks to everybody. Thanks to Chris, and big hi to my fans and supporters in UK that I've got many of. Okay.
Absolutely have. There's a lot of people looking forward to this, and who knows, maybe we can do this in person one day, maybe when you come over to Ducati Manchester. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. RUBÉN XAUS. A huge thank you to Ruben for taking his time out of his evening to chat to us, and to Chris Booth at Ducati Manchester Group for helping hook us up and get the show organised. Thank you to both of them. I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. He's a fascinating character, and should the opportunity come that we get to sit down and do it in person, I think that will be an even better chat as we deep dive on some of those experiences and some of those situations that Ruben explained during the show. Next week, we go Send My Bag by IWR Racing BSB Rookie Time. It's Scott Swan. We haven't done the chat yet by the time I've recorded this, but I'm fingers crossed and hopeful we'll have done it by the time next Wednesday comes around. I can't wait to bring Scott to you. He's a great character and about to embark on his maiden Bennett's British Superbike Championship, and that's going to be another good one. The week after that, we're back at Huddersfield International Airport. I'll just leave that one there for you. Thank you so very much for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe if you enjoy what we do, and we'll be back next week with the Super Scott Swan. Thanks so very much for watching, and please do look after yourself. Bye-bye.